All right, everybody. We're on a time constraint for this particular class, so let's just jump right in. Here we are in Collectively Rewilding, and as you can see, there's been new activity on this page since I was here, so I'm just going to click that button. And we're actually going to go into a little document that I just built all about the meeting I just went to that was hosted from my local SBDC, all right? And so here we are. This is absolutely a form of community outreach. And I've been working with my SBDC mentor, as I know you all are aware. That has been ongoing. I've worked with an SBDC mentor, a small business development center mentor, for over 5 years now. I'm in my 6th year of working with them. With this particular mentor, I've been working with him for going on 3 years now, I believe. Something like that. I've worked with them both about 2.5 to 3 years, and now I'm continuing on with the second SBDC mentor that I have, Jess Clifford, out of the Tooele Technical College. He is the person in charge of the SBDC office out of that technical college. It was hosted at the technical college, and it was a speech on a slideshow on testing your marketing before you spend. That's really very valuable, and I don't understand much of any of the things that go around marketing, advertising, budgets. I feel it all kind of falls into, at least partially, that math area, and that's my kryptonite. I am not a great math student. I never was. I'm so glad my children do better with math. My parents also do math. Somehow I missed it right in the middle there, right? And so this is very helpful to me. But we're not going to talk about that because this isn't about business. What we're going to talk about is how I engaged with parts of my community by attending this class. So not only did I get to finally meet Jess in person, I am so busy, as most of you are aware, between all the classes in our 2 communities, my time is pretty tight. And so I haven't gotten to meet him in person. We just meet online through a Zoom meeting every other week. So it was really great to get to meet him in person. I met 3 other people. I got 2 business cards and gave out 2 business cards, actually 4, because I gave 2 to each person, 1 for each community, Collectively Rewilding and Lesko Help Too. I believe in both of those communities so much, as you guys are aware, and they really do complement each other so nicely. And I also went to one of my Gardenary coaching meetups today, and I was actually able to talk with Nicole Burke, the founder and owner of Gardenary. It was really nice because in her last session where she was working with all of us, she was talking about different things, and some people were talking about the cost of the course. And I was able to tell them through my SBD mentor, I'm getting half of this course reimbursed, the cost of this course reimbursed to me because of a program that my SBDC mentor is aware of here in the state of Utah. And he actually manages this fund for the state of Utah. So win-win all around for me, right? But I qualify. He's not doing anything inappropriate. He's just sharing it with someone who is in line and has the appropriate criteria to get this grant funding. So that's amazing. And there are other counselors in our areas for farming and ranching, and you don't have to go full-fledged farming and ranching to work with those folks. So if you're not interested in a business, but you're interested in agriculture and you want to talk to people from your county co-op to your farming and ranching beginning coordinators or your farm service agency or your natural resources conservation center office, right? All these different places are out there to talk to us about what we're doing. You don't have to want to start a full-blown agricultural venture. If you just are working in your garden, in your yard, any of these things, your county extension offices, your master gardening programs, all right? Tammy knows about this. You can talk to these folks and get help where you are for free, all right? So great stuff out there. And it doesn't have to just be from one perspective. There's so many perspectives of different types of help for us out there. And so this is one type of community outreach that I actively engaged in today. I have already had an email from handing out my business card. We may see this lady come in. She has a coaching business empowering women to be leaders in agricultural ventures and in the agricultural world and some other things. I just caught a little blip of what she does, right? So it's really exciting. She really was interested in hearing about what we do here in Collectively Rewilding, and we're going to meet up to talk about that. So lots of great things going on, and that's how easy it is to push into community outreach. Signed up for a free event. Doesn't have to be through your SBDC. It could be through your library. It could be through your, let's see, what's another good example? Well, your gardening association, your master gardening association. So let's just look at a list of gardening associations. Oops, and there it was. Okay. The American Hort and the American Horticultural Society are groups that do this. So let's just check out. I like that. Ooh, I like this one. American Horticultural Society. That was the one I was trying to find up here and I wasn't seeing it in their list, right? Oh, there it is. American Society for Horticulture. Here it is, gardening groups. So we're going to click that. Gardening groups. Connecting gardeners across North America. Find a gardening society, club, or organization near you. National garden clubs, regional, native plant societies, plant societies, all different specific types of plants when people just really love a certain kind of plant, right? Professional organizations, like look at that list. There are so many resources out there for us. We do not have to feel alone in these things that we're doing. And that's what this is all about with community outreach. What kind of community outreach do you want to do in your community? How do you want to engage? What types of activities do you want to engage in? What do you want as a goal in that community outreach, right? Are you trying to get problems fixed like Tammy? Are you trying to spread word of what you're doing like I am? Are you looking to find resources for invasive species and you want to get rid of all of them in your garden? Maybe you want to plant a lot of native plants. All of those folks that we just looked at there are excellent resources for that. So let's just go ahead and post that in member meetups here in Collectively Rewilding. You land originally in the Join Us Live collection member meetup space. You're going to land on the upcoming events, and we're going to head over to the next tab, announcements, and I'll post that link for you guys with those lists because that was a ton of different types of getting out in your soil types of perspectives, right? Simply an amazing list. And let's title that Gardening Group. And it's provided by the American Horticultural Society. All right. Nice list there for everybody to check out. And then let's look at another list here. Oh, wrong thing. We're here, I believe. No, I have no idea where we were. So we're just going to begin again. And this is a great place to begin. This is the extension offices. So we did talk about that and we have that right here. So let's just add that to our post, as I wasn't able to get out a post from that last meeting where we had so many different things that we talked about. I just couldn't manage to get enough time to get enough clarity of thought to even think about putting that document together. So I do apologize about that, guys. It would have been a neat document. All right, now though, we're going to look at the Master Gardening Program in the US. See if we can get a list of something like that as well. Extension Master Gardener website. Let's see if it works. We're going to click that. mastergardenerextension.org. Find a Master Gardener program. So this is exactly what Tammy's been trying to talk me into joining for about 2 years. I will be joining. I will never move away from the fact that I will be going to join, but I got to get paid first, right? So once I get my garden area certification, this will actually be something that I can have that will back up that with absolutely local information, right? It's all in a step of progression. I'm one person doing this and trying to work 50 plus hours for my paycheck job, 20 or more hours over here to keep us going in collectively rewilding. And so I have to be very strict with my time management. So this is going to free up a lot of different options for me and be yet another form of community outreach, right? So I want to go out into the Tooele Valley and the Salt Lake Valley, and I want to get leads. That's what we talked about today when we had that meeting with Nicole Burke about getting our coaching certification, right? And that is 1000% community outreach. I'm going to go out, I'm going to talk to the library when I put up my little holder for cards or my little flyer that is going to be offering consulting options, right? And I'll go to the coffee clubs, and I'll go to the yoga centers, and I'll go to the places like Tractor Supply and Cal Ranch that are agricultural places. But for those two, I might have a completely different outreach where I'm looking for content creators as opposed to members for our public, free agriculture and nature-based online forum, right? So we're always looking for two things here in Collectively Rewilding: people that want to learn and go further in their outdoor ventures, and people that are out there going further and wanting to share that with the people that haven't gotten to go that far yet, right? That's the big picture goal for Collectively Rewilding. And so that's kind of like a chicken and the egg problem. You have to get two different kinds of marketing strategies and outreach approaches and feedback for answering people's questions when they ask you what you do. You know, that elevator pitch. Are you pitching it like you're going to get them in and help them learn how to garden, or help them get in touch with Tammy to preserve food, or help them get prepped for a disaster? And that's a member, or is it somebody that's out there working in a garden, working at preserving food, or working already at having their preps, and they know how to build a survival shelter, and they maybe know how to do things like booby traps and I can't think of the other word that I'm really like, animal traps, right? I can't think, there's a word. But you know, when you're hungry and you don't have any other source of food, being able to catch a small animal in a trap is a really valuable skill. And for me, I have a lot of prepping, survival, off-grid, homesteading type knowledge and skill sets. I don't know how to create these little snares and things that they do for that. If there were someone in here teaching people how to do that, I would be signing up for their class, right? Because I don't know how to create a snare or a booby trap, any of those types of thought processes. They go into mechanics, right? And that tends towards what? Math. So I would be the avid student, not the guide in that particular topic, right? So it's just this big kind of catch-22. And interestingly enough, the lady that I met up with that we've already started engaging in email, she's in a similar proposition. She works with businesses and people that want to have good jobs, and she puts them in touch. So she's got to market or advertise to businesses and to clients, potential clients, that she can put in touch with the businesses. So she also has this outdoor venture, and she's out there doing a whole bunch of things as well, just like so many of us are, right? And so those are ways to just start getting out into your community. Maybe you don't want to start a business, but you would really like to just have a circle of friends that get together and talk about a similar type of a topic. You can start a local gardening club. You can start a local book club. You could start a local walking club where you all just meet up once a week and go walks somewhere pretty for like a mile. There are so many ways to go about creating an environment and community where you are right now, no matter where that is, right? All right, guys. So lots of, big topic discussions there. Any questions? Any thoughts? All righty then. Miss Tammy, did you want to fill us in on your progress for where you're at with your salt cedars or tamarisk?
Well, I'm still writing my beautiful letter that I got going on, and then just
Are you
putting a
feeling
lot.
pretty comfortable, like while you're writing it, you feel like you have what you need to get it accomplished?
Uh, I'm still like putting it on my own words because I did use ChatGPT, so I'm just kind of like putting my own like personality in there. But other than that, I'm still putting together a lot of the images, photos that I had to retake because the older ones that I had were like a year ago or whatever it may be, 6, 7 months ago, and now my yard is pretty much clean, better now than it was before. So I'm
A
just
lot better. Wow, you guys
yeah,
have
for
done a
sure.
beautiful job.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to combine like a lot of obviously I have property issues, but I also have home repairs and there's other things, but I'm trying to all sum that up in one letter like I normally do. So
Mhm.
that type of thing takes maybe a couple of days for me to gather all my needs and my wants and things I need, not things I really want, but needs. So yeah, basically
Yeah.
that's where I'm standing, just putting my images on like a Google Doc and then,
Mhm.
kind of like doing that type of thing right now. And then just finishing up my letter. And then, yeah, I got all the resources. I just gotta, still put stuff together,
Yeah.
and cleaning the house
Oh,
right
it's
now.
not about rushing, right? It's about
Yeah.
doing the best job that you can.
Yeah. Sometimes I just
Most of
wish
the
I can
time,
just
because
do it like in like 30 minutes. My ADD kicks in and I get freaking bored. So like for me, I have to like go to the library and like focus, because it's hard for
right?
me because I have a lot going on in my house,
That
and my
makes a lot of
dog.
sense, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Going to
learning
a
those
quiet place.
strategies, that's really what helps you as an individual to find that success. Don't you feel that that's a big part of the success that you've garnered for yourself over the years, Tammy, is finding that method that works for you?
Yeah, I know what I know me, and I know I focus better when there's nothing on the walls, there's nothing around me where I can actually sit down and focus and get it done, not fast, but at least get enough done where it's not just I spent 30 minutes on it and I don't feel like I did anything kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really good. Knowing ourselves like that is a very big part of finding continuous success, right? Nobody's going to have constant. Everybody, if you're going to work towards a bigger goal set, if you're going to try new things, if you're going to work at meeting new people, there are going to be failures. And that is a part of the success. Failure does not mean failure unless you choose to give up. That's true failure. Failure means another chance to try again, learn something, move on to the next method that you incorporate. Don't necessarily change everything about it, right? That was kind of what we were talking about in that testing of marketing before you spend money. You you want to have an element that you can identify. So if your approach didn't work with someone, you wouldn't change your whole approach. You might just change how you present it. So as Tammy's letter as an example, maybe she writes up some nice little paragraph, but she doesn't get a lot of response for that. So what would be an alternative to having a nice little letter with paragraphs? You guys have any suggestions that might work if the paragraph method wasn't achieving the success rates that she was hoping to see? So one of the great things when you're writing is how you visually present the information. Let's just take a quick look at that doc that I built, right? This was an my husband, unfortunately, I was afraid he was going to end up calling me back while we were busy. So with that document that we put together, Excuse me, I swallowed wrong on my own mouth. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so here we are in our little document, right? And this is how it was displayed in the slides that Jess presented. That's what I kept that format for. You can break it down into sections. This is for home repair. You know, this is for the problem with my trees. This is for third item, and put a little over title, like a headline, right? This is called a heading. Here you have these headings that you can put into a document, and I've made them much smaller. Originally, it's quite a lot larger, but I wanted my title and my subtitle to have prominence without just throwing it in your face. And then I make my headings smaller as well, and you put your bullet points in. So again, your first one, maybe you want your trees covered more, so you have your problem trees. You have your bullet points, including maybe your photos about that, right? Then you could go on to home repair, and you have your bullet points, and again, perhaps having some photos as a part of those bullet points. So we want to change not everything. We didn't change what we were talking about. We changed how we looked at the material, how we presented that material. Does that make sense? As an alternative way of approaching something if you're not seeing the success that you want. I'm hearing crickets, guys. I feel like
Are you talking to me, Sabrina?
anyone. This is for
Yeah,
all of
bullet
you.
points are really good for sure.
Mhm.
Like me, like I write like continuous long paragraphs, and I have a tendency to repeat myself, and I'm not really good at English, so bullet points are you know, easy as well, and it's more clear, you know, and you can be more clear on what you want, and you know, things. It's organized for sure. I like it.
And you can see it right when you first look at it to some degree, right? You're already intaking information the second your eyes see it without it being uncomfortable, right?
Oh.
Was someone else wanting to chime in?
No, I was trying to get back to the Zoom, and then it accidentally unmuted. But since I'm unmuted, hello everybody.
Hey, Wendy.
Hi, how you doing? I'm listening.
Running like a crazy person. I rolled out of bed listening to the webinar with Nicole Burke from Gardenary. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I guess rewilding. I was trying to research on getting a template on understanding fiction writing. I've always wanted to write fiction, so I'm going to see if I can dab into that.
I can't remember if it was you or Candace. Someone I was talking to the other day said, I have resources for that. Just let me know in LH2. And I haven't come across that post yet. I hate to leave you guys without resources when I have the resources, but they really are more appropriate over in LH2 when you're talking about writing, right? So I'll just throw it on here so that you have it, because I feel like I didn't get that question, and I'm afraid they aren't going to get the resources because I certainly can't remember, right? And so we have actually in Lesko Help 2 now. If you go into your Help Now corner into Start My Business,
yes,
you will find down in that second unit in the industry specific resources. So the second to last lesson of the whole course. And I believe it's going to be down at the bottom. Let's see here.
because I think I heard Miss Littlefield mention that in one of her educations, but I didn't get to her on time before she logged off. So next week
She's relatively new, so she doesn't really hang out extra time yet, right? But she's having a good time, so maybe she will start doing that a little bit more. So right here in the industry specific resources,
yes,
you have writers and publishers series.
Oh, okay.
Now I'll just throw those on to your post here. That's going to be kind of awkward. We'll just go ahead and put them up here in the teaching session space. Okay. That way you can click and not have to try to go between communities. I don't know how that would work. I've never tried that.
Okay.
Right? So I don't want to mess you up that way. Okay.
Got it.
So,
Cool. Okay.
mhm.
And starting a community garden, say for the senior citizen community here, who do I supposed to contact? The city or who am I supposed to talk to?
Well, let me get back over to Collectively Rewilding because I have a resource for you as far as community gardens that does absolutely work for Collectively Rewilding. I also provide it in Lesko Help too, of course, but this is something that it's a Collectively Rewilding report that I share with the Lesko Help community. It's not a Lesko Help report, right?
Okay.
And so I have it somewhere right here. Yes. All right. I picked the right tab. Yay. Okay. I only have, about maybe 250, 300. So community garden funding and resources. It's a
Oh.
really great report. I just redid it in the last year sometime. All right.
Okay.
And it is simply filled with resources all around a community garden. And so we'll throw this onto the overall post that we're throwing here. It's really just kind of useful for anybody if they want to do that community kind of outreach, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right.
So there's like a big area before like in between our community condos, there's different condos, and then in between there's the community pool and the clubhouse. And I was thinking that would be a nice area to do a community garden by the clubhouse.
It really would be, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I had talked to a couple of apartment complexes when I was still renting, and they were amenable. It didn't end up working out for me, but I didn't stay there for very long, right?
Okay.
So definitely coming in and getting to know people and having that friendly relationship with your office staff. Maybe talk to your neighbors, right? That you're right by the pool.
Yeah.
Go and you sit at the pool and you just talk to everybody that comes in and says, wouldn't it be nice to have a community garden somewhere over here? Would you sign this to say that you would be interested if the apartment complex amenable?
Okay.
And then you have something more to take to that office that you're already trying to establish that nice
So
relationship.
kind of show them like a proposal.
And that is another good part of it that you can do as well. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
And we can definitely work on that here in class, right?
Okay, great.
So don't feel like you're alone while you're starting this out. You guys are absolutely welcome to bring those things that you want to do here and we can work on them, right?
Okay.
Today was a little bit more about me sharing what I was doing. So we're not necessarily working on the projects this week, but next week we have things that Tammy wants to do. She's not quite done with her letter. So next week would be a great week for you to focus on looking at how to start getting comfortable with initiating that thought process in your apartment complex area.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes.
All right. So you have this document here, and then when you pull this up, right, like it's pretty well timed, we got to call class, but it's going to have all types of different grant and grant-like opportunities for community gardens, as well as educational resources. And what I would really encourage you to look at would be to look into the overall ideology behind the community garden. There are ways that you can do it. It doesn't all have to fit into one idea. And so it looks like maybe this community gardening resources seed money, I'm guessing that they probably have some resources, but just check out some of these different sites and they're going to have educational material and literature on community gardening as well. And if you don't find any, that's what we'll do next week while we also help you to start setting up a plan. All right?
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Okay, guys, really fun to work with all of you. Let's just throw on there in case someone is checking out the posts that we don't get to just work with all of the time, right? We get kind of insular in this little group where we all know each other. But there are people out there that are looking at this material that don't necessarily comment or participate a lot. And so I try to keep that in mind. So we'll just throw on there how to bookmark or save a post so that they can save this or any other post if they're interested. And now let's jump into our calendar, everyone. Our next class is going to be tomorrow, and that's Gardens and More Q&A, starting at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Mountain, 9:30 p.m. Central, and 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Hope you guys are all able to attend, and definitely hope you're able to join back in, especially you, Miss Wendy, and let's get working on that community garden. And then the week after that, hopefully Miss Tammy will be done with her letter and ready to move on to the next stage. Does that sound like a good going forward plan, everyone?
Yes.
Oh, and you know what? Benny had a question for us, or more of a comment that he was sharing with us, I guess, perhaps is a better way to say it. And he says that he would love to do something for the community. He just doesn't know, and my thing is being kind of weird. Let me make it bigger so I can see that last word there. You just don't know yet. Like you don't know what kind of endeavor you'd want to do or how you'd want to start it or any of the above.
What was the question?
Then he said that he would love to do something for his community. He just doesn't know yet. So you don't know what you'd want to do. You don't know how you go about it, right? Like you just don't know how to start one. So you already have an idea of what you want to do. Is that right, Benny?
Let's start by hearing his voice. I have
You know what?
never
I'm
heard
not going to
Benny's voice.
discourage you from encouraging him, right? Somewhat, you have an idea, Benny. He's laughing too, Wendy. Yeah, that's the response you got was laughter, right? All right, guys. Well, then what I would suggest is if you would like to take that third week, Benny, that gives you, a good little bit of time and think over some different ideas, right? Like listen to what we work on with Miss Wendy coming up, listen to what we work on with Tammy in the following week, and then we'll work with you on, if you still haven't nailed something down, kind of work out something you might be interested in doing, or if you've kind of nailed down what you're interested in working on, go pushing forward on that topic. Does that sound like a good plan? All right, Benny says yes. Wonderful. And of course, Benny, that would be a great time for you to practice with sharing your voice if you choose to, right? So that it's all about what you're working on and we don't have to focus on your voice a lot, right? Like Tammy, she has a very active background. Oh, he's going to think about it, guys, right? So she has to mute sometimes because her background just becomes too noisy. So of course, we're willing to work with things like that always, right? So great. We have our next 3 weeks classes all lined up, guys. That's really fun. Lots of stuff to do, right? There's always so much that we see in our communities that engages our thoughts. And we think, oh, a community garden would be so nice right there. Oh, I would love to see them put in a street market once or twice every, spring or fall. Or maybe you want to start a car show in your area. You see all these neat cars, but you haven't ever seen a car show. And you're like, gosh, it would be so neat if people.
Would those things be nonprofits?
You could actually start something that would be a full nonprofit to cover that, absolutely. Or you can just start kind of throwing it together and seeing if you have feedback from your community. There's so many ways to do these kinds of things.
Okay.
Right? Absolutely. So think about it, guys. What do you want to do? Do you want to just get out and talk to people? That's something that I'm horrible about, right? And I don't always succeed when I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, oh my goodness, these tomatoes look glorious. Sometimes people just talk right back to me, and sometimes people will kind of look at me and move away, or sometimes they just don't even acknowledge that I've said something, right? Yeah. And so it's all about two things: knowing that you cannot succeed without failing, and keeping an upbeat attitude. When I say something nice to someone, like I compliment people, right? If I see something I like, their clothes, their hair, their makeup, whatever, they have a nice smile, whatever, and I'll say something to them. Sometimes I don't get people acknowledging even a compliment to them. And you just have to let it be about them. It's not about you. You still put that positivity out there, and don't let it make you sad or frustrated if you can help it. and simply keep on smiling, because more often than not, I at least get a smile and a nod, right? And especially if we're going to be in a community for a lengthier period of time, each time we do that, it really does spread out a ripple. So you guys have met my mom. She's not here today, but she told me one time that she would watch when I would just throw out these little compliments at people. And I don't even think about it very much. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit today. And then I just keep going. I don't need their acknowledgement if they don't give it to me. I'm giving them that chance, right? I'm not just ignoring their response, but it's not about that. It's about just sharing what I thought, hopefully brightening their day, and I'm going on with mine. And my mom will watch the people afterwards, and she just says, I change their energy, right? She has her own words, but they're more uplifted. They're standing a little taller. They're smiling. Their eyes are a little brighter, whatever it is that she's noticing. And it does send a ripple out. So especially when we're going to be in a community for a long period of time, each little time we take that moment, it really does encourage more behavior like that in a community. And that's what we were really looking for, right? We're really looking for a community that we want to walk into a store and feel like we might run into someone that we know. Or if not, that if we smile at a stranger, chances are good they're going to just smile back, right? It's an innate need that we have as humans. We all know this naturally. There are scientific studies that prove it. It's something that's real. We're all looking for connection. We're all, even people that are agoraphobics, people that are antisocial, in the end, if they had found a community of like-minded people that were also of that mindset, it would probably be a positive thing for the majority of those types of characters, right? We're all our own characteristics. We are our own story. We are our own characters of our own story. And we choose what we present. And I have to really watch that because I get road rage, right? And now, as my daughter pointed out, we are driving around our semi-small city. It's like just barely truly at that full city status, right? Kind of leaving the rural behind, but on that line. So it's small enough that having my business signs on my car, if I drive around with road rage, some people are going to remember that. And so it helps me to have that positive encouragement from someone, just as this is a positive encouragement to help us to go out and engage, and then to intake that lesson and utilize it when we're trying to move further forward in a proactive and positive fashion. And so just some thoughts to keep in mind when you are all out there in your moment. There's times for community building anytime you leave the house, right? You go to your local gas station just to get gas. Strike up a small conversation. Hey, I see you all the time, and I just thought I'd say hi. I mean, it does not have to be grandiose, right? And you'll be amazed at how it just starts becoming something. And you find out they have kids, and you tell them about the parrot, or you tell them about the garden you're planting for your porch, or my goodness, your dog troop, right? For our different lives and individualities. And you'll begin engaging with people. And the more you do it, the more comfortable it will become. And I would encourage you all to think about that almost as like homework, right? You guys all have projects that you're wanting to do in your communities. You at least have an idea of any. And so how are you going to put that first foot forward? Well, in all reality, you want to have some practice steps before you take that real first step into accomplishing your goals, right? So let's all try this week before we get back together to say something to a stranger, to smile at a stranger, to wave at someone that is walking while you're out walking, whatever the case may be. Just take that step, that practice step of engaging in some sort of interaction with someone you don't already know. You guys ready to take that assignment on?
Yeah.
Yeah? We got one positive response.
I'm always down to
because I'm vision impaired. Usually people just stare
They
at
do
me and
sometimes.
I don't know. So I take, being an advocate, I just step forward and I say, hey, how you doing? And be like, I may be visually impaired, but I'm not weird. I'm here. I'm human too. How you doing? I make conversation and then they loosen up. Like, oh wow, she's so outgoing, or whatever. So I get a lot of responses at times because I guess people have never seen a visually impaired person sometimes, or I know I haven't. Only I dealt with my
Not
mother
that
before she passed. She had glaucoma, but I didn't know it was a whole community, and
Just
they,
like the deaf community, right?
yeah, and they got professions. They have encouraged me, and I've gone to college, and I've went to the workforce, just jumped right into it, not knowing how I'm gonna do it, what I'm gonna do, but I just fumbled and got it and became advanced at it. So, so
He
yeah.
said he's going to join us as well. He'll try to meet someone new. It sounds like Wendy's an old hat at it, right? And they were just out there talking to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, and then I couldn't quite catch what you said, Tammy. I think you said you're down like James Brown, or
Yeah, pretty much.
all right. Well, encourage Miss Charity, right? That one would be a really valuable, we'll say, a very valuable step for her to try to take. Even just waving at somebody in her little trailer park community, right, that she sees all the time but avoids, just wave and then go right back into the behind the window curtain or something,
I know she sits on her like porch area, like in front of her door. Like she goes outside that far. Like I don't think she goes like too far other than going to like the doctors, other than that. Yeah.
I'm so grateful that she's able to do that kind of. A lot of people that have a similar condition can't leave their homes. Like they really cannot leave their homes. And so I'm so glad that she's not without the ability to take care of what she needs to. But let's encourage her to branch out and go a little further. Right?
I'm almost there, but I was there, but I'm getting out little by little. So I used to, since the corona, I stayed home. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to go to no restaurants. I didn't want to do anything, but I'm slowly but surely coming back out, so saying hi and meeting people. So yeah.
It's not about pressure. It's about consistently encouraging yourself to take those small steps when you have the strength of character. This one fly is like loving me. I apologize. You see, I try not to kill bugs, right? No, I don't just preach it. I practice what I preach. But the flies, sometimes they have to go. When they're flying, there's 5 of them just flying around my food. I admit it. I pull that fly swatter out. They're gonna stop bothering me while I'm trying to cook. I do try not to kill the bugs. All right, guys. Well, hope to see you tomorrow. We definitely need to get this wrapped up so that I can go in and just make sure everything is going okay in the next class for LH2. So please feel free to open up those mics and say goodnight. And to our silent Benny, we say goodnight as well.
I know. Bye,
good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.